As you probably saw on my channel, I occasionally show you that I'm not from an English-speaking country, and I actually try to hide it from you because of privacy, but I probably failed doing that. So I admit, I'm from a modest country called Kazakhstan, which is located in Central Asia. Why did I say that, you might ask? Well, today's video topic is related to Apple products in third world countries, and why people underestimate how different it could be compared to more developed countries, how illogical their prices can be, and trust me, that's really deeper topic today. Now let's get into it. Alright, let's start the topic with the prices. You might already think that prices in third world countries are just twice as high, like just pay double and buy a MacBook. Well, that sounds dramatic and simple, but I wish it were that simple because it's not. Let me make it clear. In most countries like Kazakhstan, Indonesia, India, Mexico, and so on, countries not directly related to developed economies, there's no such thing as an Apple store. Yeah, we don't buy Apple products from official stores. And I should mention that I can only partially call these countries third world countries because technically that term doesn't really exist anymore. But who cares? I'll still use it so it's easier to understand. So if there's no Apple store in my country, where do we buy Apple products from? Most of the time, we have two choices. First, go to a more developed country and buy it there. But that's tough. You have to apply for a visa, which can take a month of bureaucracy, pay for visa services, wait for approval, and then buy a flight ticket, which is expensive for ordinary people. Then you still need to book a hotel for a day or two until you return flight. So the actual cost of getting the MacBook ends up being almost 3x the real price. Not just the Mac itself, but also the travel and accommodation. These options only make sense if you're already going to that country for another reason. So what if you're not going to the US just for a MacBook? And that's where the second choice comes in. And it's the one most people in developing countries rely on. We have suppliers, tech resellers who buys devices from the US or Europe and sell them locally. You'll find these tech stores in Kazakhstan, India, Brazil, the Philippines, etc. Sounds easier, right? But it's still not that simple. These suppliers have to pay import taxes, custom fees, logistic costs, and then add their margin on top, which drives prices up even more. And don't forget, these countries people also earn way less from their jobs. So imagine working a 9-to-5 job in India, and you want to buy a MacBook. First, your salary is probably 4x lower than American or European teen. And second, you have to pay 2x more for the same product. Do you feel the gap now? For example, the MacBook Air M4 costs $999 in the official US Apple Store. But in countries like Brazil or Kazakhstan, it's around $1,500 or $1,800. I bought mine for about $1,570. And believe it or not, that's not even the most frustrating part. The real pain starts when you realize how limited we are with Apple's refurbished store and education store. But more on that next. By the way, I know a lot of you guys watch my videos because you're into tech, coding, or just trying to change your career at some point. And since I always tell you the truth, I need to say this clearly. This part is actually sponsored by boot.dev. Now, I don't promote random stuff. They gave me access to their platforms first so I could actually try it, and I did. And honestly, I wish I had this back when I tried learning to code because it doesn't feel like studying at all. It feels like you're playing a game and accidentally becoming a backend developer. Like, you're not just watching videos, you're actually writing code in Python, SQL, or even Go, while doing quests, earning XP, fighting bosses, and unlocking levels. And there's this AI bear wizard called Boots who helps you when you get stuck. But he doesn't just give you the answers instantly, he kind of pushes you to understand it yourself, which is fun and doesn't make you feel dumb. And what I respect the most is that all the content is free to read and watch. You only pay if you want the interactive features like coding directly in the browser, the AI assistant, progress tracking, the game mechanics, all that. Plus, there is a 30-day refund if someone changes their mind, so it's not a scammy thing. So if you're serious about learning to code but you hate boring tutorials, try it using my link. Go to boot.dev and use my code AMAN to get 25% off your first year on the annual plan. I'll also leave the link and the QR code in the description and on the screen. Alright, now let's back to the video. Yeah, as I said earlier, we don't have a single Apple store, not official, not refurbished, and not even educational. If you don't know what those are, let me explain. A refurbished store is where Apple sells refurbished devices which have been repaired or had their battery replaced. But that doesn't mean those devices are old, they're almost like new, and they even come with a 1-year warranty from Apple. And those are up to 30% cheaper than the brand new models. That's cool because sometimes people really want to save money and don't mind if the device isn't brand new. And honestly, I'm one of them. I don't care if my Mac isn't new, as long as it's 30% cheaper. That means I can spend the money I saved on more important things. But no, in my country we don't have that option.